What's up? What's up, Josh Paul Hudson? I'm getting ready to leave, man, to go to Denver, right? I'm not really for sure about how, yeah, to go to Denver. It ain't just here nor there, man, right? It's because it's already over already. But I'm gonna make a video that like I've been meaning to make for a long time, but I've never really put it down. I mean, I have, but I've never really uploaded it and showed everybody. I've told the story a million times, man. But the reason I'm going to tell it now is it's pertinent to this moment, right? It really is. And it's for Joe Rogan. Because Joe Rogan, like, and I don't get to check out his show because it's a long show and it's not that. Joe Rogan's cool, man. I like a lot of stuff that he said. I just don't have that kind of time, like, with the stuff that I'm doing all the time. Because, like, I'm never, like, in a set place where I got a radio. Like, sometimes I don't even have a phone. My phone gets taken, so maybe now I'll have some more time to listen to Joe Rogan. But anyway, here's why, man. And Joe Rogan had Kid Rock on there. It was like from 8 days ago. I don't even know why it popped up. But for some reason, I clicked on it, right? I'm going to tell you why I clicked on it, right? But it said under it, Joe Rogan and Kid Rock discuss if Jesus is real, right? And Joe Rogan asked Kid Rock if you could go back and visit anybody in time, like who would you? And he says Jesus, and then they have this little discussion about like Joe Rogan if Jesus is real, right? And Joe Rogan says, well, yeah, a lot of people that could change the words and stuff and all that. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, they have. I mean, everything's for God's purpose. But here's why I'm going to tell this story, and here is how you tie into it, right? So when I'm in Salt Lake City, and I'm at the end of Salt Lake City, and I'm about to come to Denver, or about to go to Grand Junction, where I didn't know, I was sealing off Satan in Salt Lake City, right? After I knew that I was done, I was gold, right? I'm gold. I'm gonna get out of town. God just told me I'm gonna live because like it's always a life and death thing. Like I'm always at the time. It's like if I don't get this right, I'm gonna die. It's never like if I don't get this right, my album says don't go. It's always like Josh, you're like about 2 seconds away from being dead. You're about 2 seconds away from God blotting you out of the fucking book of life. You fucked up so bad. It's always that serious, man. Or he makes it seem that serious, right? But I knew I was gold. I'm getting out of Salt Lake City, right? And I don't know if for some reason, and my phone went dead, and I know why because the tracking, there was stuff that we were doing, me and Michael, but my phone went dead, and for some reason on my way out, I just started going, and from the cities of, wherever fucking Josie's from the cities, he doesn't say Detroit, from the city of Josie, I'm the Joe to the C, ho, call me Josie, got Morgan, and I just kept singing that, like, 3'9" with a 10-foot dick. And I would, I'd go through that much of the line. I don't even know why. It's just popping in my head, man. And I was gonna make a video of it, but my phone wouldn't work. But like, I quit singing it, and then all of a sudden, I'd be like, Satan, I'm the Joe to the C, ho. I just kept fucking. I'm walking through Salt Lake City, just like I don't even know why. Josie, it just kept going on in my head, man. Right? So then, I get here, man, and I'm on my way up to, well, that's claim, to win. I've already won, but to claim my whatever. And I see Joe Rogan, and there's Kid Rock. That's why I clicked on it, because I was just, like, after Salt Lake City, I'm like, at the J.O., and what they're debating. And it's like, God, tell me, this is the time to tell this story, right? Because it's important. And it has to do, there's Egyptian stuff, there's Egyptian mythology involved in it. There's Christian theology involved in it. There's Greek theology, and then the Bible's involved in it. Jesus, it all fits together, man. So I'm told he's there, and I'm on my way to federal prison, right? But before I go to federal prison, like I gotta go to court, and I get arrested in Las Vegas, and my court case is in Virginia, in Newport News, Virginia, right? So I get sent there, right, all the way across the country. I don't know anybody there. I don't know anybody in Virginia. I'm not going to get into why my case. But I'm going to federal prison, man, right? And I'm told he's in and out. And my thought process was, I'm like, okay, I'm going to probably get like, I don't know, man, 4 years, 3 years, whatever. But I'm going to come out and I'm going to be a legend in the streets of Las Vegas, man, because I'm going to have fucking so much street cred. I had a lot of street cred before. I'm gonna be like, fuck, I'm gonna be the man. That's why I was thinking. I think positive about this stuff, right? And First I'm in Newport News, and after a month, it's cool, man. We're making fucking, jail wine with our fruit. I was like, all right, this is gonna be all right, man. Because jail in fucking Las Vegas isn't like that, man. Well, in Virginia was off the chain, man. At this place, right? And they like fucking, you get lunches and everything, whatever, or like you could like order hamburgers, and I'd never seen you. They gave you a menu, and I had a bunch of money in the bank, so. Like I fucking had all store the whole time. The whole time I was in prison and jail, man. I had store, but you could like order like twice a week. You could order a special meal, right? You could get a hamburger. You could get like a real fucking like real shit like ice cream and that shit, man. So I was like, man, this is kind of all right. I can do this. But I did a year in jail. A year in jail is a long time. There's dudes doing 2-3 years in jail. That a year in jail is a long time to be in jail, right? It's long because you don't go out. It's a long time. But anyway, I get transferred out there. I get transferred to Virginia Beach. Virginia Beach just happens to be the home of Edward Casey, right? Edward Casey came up with the Akashic records, where he could look into the future, whatever. And like. God had started talking to me a little bit, but when I got to Virginia Beach, all of a sudden I started noticing the numbers on the doors, and they started like turning into like code. And I had seen it before, but I was really starting to see it now. I'm like, and then I would start reading books. I read like all the Game of Thrones books and this other book, and then all of a sudden the words started on the page, started coming together and like. This letter, and this letter, and this letter, and this, and it was like there was a secret message in it, right? And then I was listening to like the radio and like, what's that show with the fucking dude the aliens dude, whatever his name, he's got the mustache. I know what I'm talking about. I'm listening to that on the radio because that's all there's to do in jail is listening to the radio, man. Watch TV. That's why I like music, so I listen to radio all the time. And that's fine because that's what I do now. Like, so I just sit there and listen to radio. But at night I would listen to that, and then they would have Edgar Casey specials on all the time because I was in Virginia Beach, man, and the Akashic Records. And all of a sudden is I don't know, they had a numerology special. I'm like, I need to check it out because I'm seeing all these numbers, man. So I had I wrote Edgar Casey, and I had them send. I bought because I had money. I bought them stuff, and I called up my mom. I said, give me a numerology book. She goes, what kind? I go, I don't know. Just give me a numerology book. She gets me this numerology book. It probably had like about 40 pages in it, maybe less than that. It was called Beginner's Guide to Numerology or some shit. It taught me enough to how to figure out my birth date, what some master numbers were. Like, I think, like, it said the famous person, Stalin, had the same birthday as me, or I don't even know what. But it taught me enough to show me how to figure out my birthday and, like, what master numbers are. And that's it, man. It's called The Basics of Numerology. There's probably some other stuff. That's the only numerology book I've ever read. And I'm like the world's expert of numerology and Bible numerology. That's the only book I've ever read on numerology. Everything else is like self-taught that I've been shown. Like you can't be taught. I could show somebody how it works, but you couldn't figure this out for yourself, man. I spent 4 years in prison, man, of just 24 hours, man, just being shown. And I would write everything out. I'd see. I started translating the world, man. It was like the Matrix. See, and the thing about the Bible is, man, how you know this stuff. God always puts his prophets in jail, man. He always they're always going to jail, man. And like people are like, or down like, oh, you're a criminal. All the prophets went to jail, man. They all fucking lawbreakers. All of them, man. They all go to jail, man. Fucking Joseph gets thrown in a well and gets sold. Fucking John the Baptist goes to jail. Paul goes to jail. All the apostles go to jail. Right? Fucking David gets fucking run out and is hiding in a cave for God knows how long, right? He's on the run from Saul, like, Elijah's runs away and is hiding out in the mountains, and doesn't have any food. I mean, on and on and on. He always isolates him, and he put me in jail. And the reason he put me in jail is because it cuts you off from the world. It cuts you off from everything. The prison, and he did a double thing to me because my hip was broke. I have a, what is it, something occurs. I have degenerative joints. From drinking. It's not because I'm old, from drinking. And my hip had collapsed. I'd been walking around on it for like a year. I just thought, I was like, oh man, whatever. Like, I was wrestling with an angel. But so when I go to prison, I can't go to the yard because I can't walk. I can't walk, but I'm like crippled, man. And they wouldn't fix it. I couldn't get it fixed until I get out of prison. So I'm isolated and I can't go to the yard. I can't. I would just sit there on my bed because it was the most comfortable thing to do and listen to radio, and that was it. And get taught how to decipher the world. That's what I did. And make Taylor Swift collages. I made Taylor Swift collages for some ungodly reason. I started doing that. Right? But anyway, back to the story. So I get this numerology book, and I learn how to do that. I figure out there's a couple things. Figure out my birthday, that's it, blah, 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 whatever. But I'm not even thinking God at this point, man. I'm just thinking, I don't know what I'm thinking, but I'm seeing something, man. And then, I go to court, and I get charged, or whatever. I think I'm as soon as I got there, I told my lawyer, because in federal prison, if you get indicted by a grand jury, you're going to prison. The fucking the federal government has a 93% conviction. The federal government can't do anything 93% right. The federal government can't do anything 5% right. But they can put you in prison. Oh, they're good at that. They have all the facts on that one, on putting you in prison, but they can't do anything else. They have like a fucking 90, they have an ungodly conviction rate, 93%. Like, it might even be more. It might be 99% because they just make shit up. They don't have to prove anything. It's called conspiracy. You conspired going to prison, and so once you get indicted by a grand jury, unless you're like, in the government, you're going to prison. And and I knew that, so I just fucking said to my lawyer, I said, just make the best deal you can. Like, they talk about Trump, and they're like, Trump has 58 charges, federal charges. Like, yeah, because that's what they do. I had 44. Or some shit like that. I had like 42 or 44 charges against me by the federal government, and they had absolutely no proof of me committing any crime, because that's what they do. And then they fucking drop it all down, and you get charged with one thing, and then that's enough because the statutes are so high. That's why they overcharge you. You're forced to plea. Anyway, that's not really the point of this. So I get found guilty or whatever, and I'm gonna get, I don't even know, whatever, my sentencing, or it was like the first court. But as soon as that happened, I get moved out of the cell I'm in, because now I'm on, because I'm a Fed, right, and I'm in a state jail, or in this county jail, and the Feds have to be in a certain, like, some special, I get a special meal, which is crap, but whatever. But because I'm a Fed, and there's never any Feds in there, right? There'll be like one, one or two, and everybody else is like fucking county or state. So like you got to be in a special place because the federal government's, because you're under the federal government. So they moved me over to this other place. Right, and it's cool, man. I start hanging out with this dude, man. He's in there for fucking selling meth or whatever, dude. He's cool. We're drinking coffee together. We're hanging out, man. He's a total heathen. And about, I don't know, a week goes by, right? 2 weeks. I mean, me and this dude were tight. We were tight. We're friends, right? I thought it was cool, man. And I go to sleep this night, and I have this dream, right? And I'm on top of this hill. And I get out of this car. I get out of the back of this car, right? Trying to get away, car. Anyway, I get out of this car, right? And I'm drunk. And I start walking down this hill. I'm stumbling down this hill. I'm stumbling down. Right? And I come to the front of this restaurant. I'm in front of this restaurant, man, and I walk inside of it, right? And there's 3 paths. Okay? There's one to the right, there's one straight, and there's one to the left. And I go to the right, and I go in, and it's this empty room. And I hear this voice say, "Not in there." So I go back out, and I go to the left path. And there's this bar. And I walk behind the bar, and there's like this angel like there. And he goes, "You're not supposed to be back here." Right? So then I go straight, right? And I go into this room, and I open up this room. And there's God at this big table. Right? It's God, man. But he's at this big table. "I will sit down and dine with you," blah, blah, blah. Right? But it's God, man. And God looks like he's in a human form. And he looks like this guy, Martin Byrne. When I lived in Nace County, Kildare, which is part of the story, but I'm not going to pull this part into it. He looks exactly like him. He was the manager when I was a chef at this fucking restaurant there. I was a chef in Ireland. At Toker's Restaurant in County Kildare, the home of Mary Magdalene, patron saint. She's my great-grandmother, but I didn't know this at the time. So I sit down, and I'm sitting down in front of God, and Taylor's all this food and whatever. And we're sitting there, and there's these 2 waitresses, and they both have black gloves on. Right? There's one waitress, she's the old waitress. She's not old, she's the old waitress. She brings me this food and puts it down in front of me. And it's like this noodle pasta, like, right? I don't even know how to describe it, but it's washed out. It's washed out pale, like you ever seen like a evergreen tree, like your Christmas tree, like when the pine needles start to die and it fucking washes away and all that green starts to turn like a white. It's that color. It's when they say it's a pale horse in Revelations, it's washed out green. It's actually pale. Is actually the translation is green is a washed out green, right? And so that's the color of the pale horse. But I didn't know that either at the time, right? So they bring this plate, and I go and I take a bite of it. And you know in the Matrix, when Neo's mouth comes up, right? That's what happens to my mouth, but it wasn't so brown. I couldn't open. And God's just sitting there. God's sitting there, and he starts laughing at me. Right? He starts laughing at me, right? And then the new waitress comes over. She has a black glove, too. And she puts down this other same kind of pasta, but it's evergreen. Like a brand new, bright Christmas tree. And God looks at me, man. He picks up this chalice, and he just pushes it towards me. And I wake up, and I'm forever changed. I just fucking saw God. And you know when you see God, it was God. It was God, man. I mean, I was changed. I've seen so much stuff. And God's come to me in other dreams before, right? But, like, it was a profound change. Like, I was like, I didn't even know what to do. But I knew I had just been in the presence of God. Because it's that powerful, right? And I'm like, am I supposed to become a priest? What am I supposed to do? I don't know. Why God come to me in a dream? Because it was God. It wasn't an angel. Because angels come all the time, man. It was God. It was God, right? I can't curse anymore. I got to change. What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to start reading the Bible? Right? That's what started happening to me, right? And the dude who was my friend, like, he comes in. I'm like, I can't talk to you anymore. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but I can't talk to you anymore. And he's like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Like, dude, just leave me alone. Don't talk to me anymore. He's probably like, fucking, what's wrong with this dude? What happened, man? Because we're friends. And I was like 180 on him, man. I was like, don't come over. I'm not drinking coffee with you. I'm not hanging out with you. I'm not talking to you. I can't talk. I don't know. God just came to me. I didn't say that. I didn't say God just came to me because I was new at this stuff and I didn't want to say that. I'm just like, I can't talk to you anymore. I don't know. I'm supposed to become a monk. I don't fucking know, dude. But God just fucking, that's how powerful it was. Right? And he, all right, whatever, man. He probably just thought I was fucking wigging out, or because I'm in jail, right? And then I don't even know. It's like 2 nights later, I have another dream, right? And there's like these 2 cities or whatever. And I'm not gonna get into tell the whole cities, but then I walk up and there's this mansion. There's mansions there, right? And I go inside this mansion, and I go up the steps of the mansion to the very top, to the attic of the mansion. And there's this lady with her back to me. And she turns around and it's my grandmother. Right? It's my grandmother who was very, very religious. And she has this book. And she goes like this. I wake up. Like, okay, God wants me to find a book. How am I going to find a book? I'm in jail. So the book here in jail? I mean, because here's the thing that proves that this is God. I mean, there's going to be way more than, it's not indisputable, and there's physical proof. I'm in jail. I'm going to prison. How am I going to find a book? I can't go find a book. I can't go to a library. I can't go to used bookstores. Everything that I'm going to come in contact with, I have no control over. The books that I come in contact with are going to be the books that are there. I can't go find a book. I'm supposed to find a book. Maybe it's in here. But like God had just come to me, and it was like 2 days before. So it's like I'm jazzed. Okay, God, I'm found. You know what I'm saying? And I'm in jail, so I can't go anywhere. So all there is to sit there and dwell. And then the dude's still trying to be my friend. I'm like, get the fuck away from me, because I need to find a book. I go up, man. I go up into this jail, man. There's like 6 or 7 books there. I'm like, which book? None of these are about God. None of these are about anything. I don't fucking know. Like, none of these books mean anything to me. I don't know. Right? So it's about 2 more nights later, I have another dream, right? And there's this big map. And there's a hippopotamus. And the hippopotamus starts taking bites out of the map. He takes a bite out of Colorado. He takes a bite out of Illinois. He takes a bite out of Florida. He takes a bite out of California. He takes a bite out of New York. He's just taking bites out of the map, right? And I wake up. I don't know if I thought this at the time or whatever. I'm like, I think I did. I was like, I gotta find a bishop or a cardinal. And I'm not even Catholic at the time. I'm like, in the United States of America. I mean, that's what, like, I think I figured it out after I started deciphering Revelation. Because after God came to me in the dream, and after I had the third successive dream, then things started coming to me fucking hard. Like, I started seeing everything. I mean, I look in the Bible, I could see everything, man. I would start, like, I would write stuff out, and I had to move me to the Christian block. I thought, well, I have to go to the Christian block. I would go to the Christian block, and I would write stuff out, like thoughts and everything. And then the next day, the speaker would come in, and he would word for word repeat what I just wrote out. And I'd be like, oh, he must know, man. Whatever. So, like, I figure out that I'm the first horseman in my birthday match, something, whatever. So I start writing. Or no, I hadn't started writing people yet. But I know I need to find a cardinal or a bishop. So I called my mom, right? And I said, Mom, here's what I want you to do. I need you to give me every bishop in the United States of America from 1994 to this was like, what was this? It was 2014, this 2015 to 2015. For Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, St. Louis, Phoenix, L.A., I don't even know, man. I named off like fucking 20 cities probably, right? My mom goes, okay. Because here's the other thing about it, right? Because I'm in jail, right? So I physically can't do anything. The only way that I can do anything is if I call up my mother. I'm luckily, like, my mom's good person and loves me and like fucking, but it's the only way for me to get if I want to get a book or do anything, I can't go do it. The only way is for me to call up my mom and be like, here, Mom, I need you to research this and I need you to send me this list. And then I have to wait for it to come. Or if I wanted to write a letter, because I had my mom transcribe everything. when I really started writing, I would write it. I would send it to my mom. My mom would type out everything, and then mail it and keep a copy. It was a lot of fucking letters, man. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. I had boxes. I fucking left them. I left them in Las Vegas when this started up this last time. God told me to just leave that shit. They probably threw it away. That shit should be in a museum. For real. That shit should be in the Vatican archives. If anything should be in the Vatican archives. They probably wouldn't want it because it would dissolve their thing. But anyway. So she goes, okay. So I call her back like 2 days later, and I go, you got the list? She goes, do you know how many people that is, Joshua? I'm like, no, how many? She goes, it's like 200 people. I said, yeah, I need that list. 200 people. So she fucking copies it all out, all of them. Philadelphia, St. Louis, LA, from 20 cities, 200 fucking bishops, right? And sends it to me. I get this list. I opened it up. This letter. I opened it up. First page. I don't even know what page it was on. First page. Second page. Cardinal Justin Regali. I see this name. Instantly, I go, Cardinal Justin Regali. That's who I'm supposed to talk to. And then I look under it. Cardinal Leo Burke. He's going to have something to do with this, too. I know instantly. There's like 200 guys. It wasn't like I poured over the list. It was like instant Cardinal Justin Regali. I need to write him about this stuff because at this time it was like fucking intensely. I'm like fucking like really fucking me and God are like having a fucking serious conversation, man. Serious. And like I'm writing it all out. Fucking that's when I start writing. I would write out everything I see. Now I don't have to do that shit. Like I just see it. That's why when I explain stuff, sometimes people like I don't go into the detail because I don't need to. I just know because I've seen it so many times. I just know what it says. Because I it's like, it's like, I don't know, when you can read another language, you just fucking, like, you don't, it takes, I know what it says. I can look at it. It's like having I don't know. Anyway, so I start writing Cardinal Regali. I start writing him. And then I'm reading all these other fucking religions. I start writing everybody. Edgar Casey, fucking Jonathan Cahn, fucking Dave Jeremiah, anybody I would find. Hundreds. I wrote them all. Everybody in Christianity, fucking but mostly Cardinal Regali. I wrote him hundreds of letters, telling him about my birthday and fucking, because God had come to me, right? God, and I didn't know what to do, man. I'm supposed to find this book, and I haven't found this book, and I don't know, man. I had the dream, and the hippopotamus takes a bite out of Colorado first. Or am I about to go up? That's why this is fucking, it's like 10 years ago. It's like 2014, it's like 10 years ago. Which matches up to Revelations. Some of you will be put to death, some of you will be put to prison for 10 years. Or 10 days, which is, in biblical prophecy, 1 year is a day. It's been 10 years. I'm about to go up Colorado. And it matches up to Egyptian because, right, when Horus and Set, right, are competing to become, head of the gods. What's one of the challenges that happens with Horus and Set? They get turned into hippopotamuses. It's a hippopotamus test. It's part of Egyptian folklore. There's a lot going on here, man. Anyway, so, and I didn't know all that at the time. The hippopotamus, I didn't know any of this stuff. None of it, man. God came to me. My grandmother told me I would find a book, and the hippopotamus, and okay, Cardinal Regali. So a year goes by, and I'm in jail, right? No book. And I'm struggling with I don't know what I'm supposed to do, man. Am I supposed to become a preacher or a monk? Dude, I'm not really the preacher type, man. I'm not really think I'm gonna be an evangelist. Are you sure, God? What are you talking about? But I'm translating all this stuff, man. I understand the nature of God, and it's like this language I know, man. And like I said, I only read one numerology book, and at this point, it's a whole different language, man. Anyway, It's a hidden code. It's a code he made. He made it just for me, right? But I can show you how it works, and and it makes sense to you. But whatever. So I get sentenced. They give me the maximum with no proof, 45 months. My lawyer says, they'll probably give you the low end. The judge goes, we're gonna give you the maximum, 45 months. All right. So I get sentenced, so I'm gonna get moved out of the jail fucking probably like, within a week. It was within like 4 days. The feds got me out, and they're shipping, and I'm getting sent to. I didn't know yet. They didn't tell me until I got to Oklahoma City, because that's where the transfer station is in Oklahoma City. But I had to jump from a couple of jails, right? And the thing about it is, with the feds, is every time you move from a jail, whatever you want sent back, they'll mail it for you, free of charge. So every jail that I went to, I'm looking for this book that I'm supposed to find. And I'm looking in all these Bibles. And like in the Bibles, man, people marking them and shit. I'm like, maybe they didn't, because I'm seeing all these numbers. I'm like, I don't have time to look through all this shit. So like every jail I would leave, I would send back like fucking 4 or 5 Bibles, right? The feds would pay for it. There was like, I don't even know, man. There's like about, from me going back to, for me getting sent to where I was getting sent, like 20 Bibles I sent back. I was like, okay, man, it'll be in here. I don't know, man, but I was supposed to find this book, and there are no other books, so it's got to be one of these, right? That's how it always was. It's got to be this. Never that. It never is. It's always something else. It was always like, this guy's got, I just heard what this guy said. He's going to know what I'm talking about. That guy never knows what you're talking about. So I get to Oklahoma City. All that stuff's happening, and they tell me, okay, you're going to Illinois. Going to Illinois. You guys are sending me, because they can send you anywhere. They go, you're going to Illinois, and you're going to Pekin, which is right by where my mom lives. My mom lives in Galesburg. They're like, you're going to Pekin. That's where you're going. Because I went to camp. I didn't really go to prison. I went to camp. Right? And they sent me there because I told them that I made up my drug. I fucking embellished my drug thing because I wanted to get into the drug whatever program. And if you did that, you could get a year off your sentence. So I wanted to make sure I could get in it. And so they sent me to Pekin because that's where like fucking one of the main like camp drug things is. So you get a year off. Right? And Pekin, you know what the mascot of their high school fucking team is? The Dragons. The Pekin Dragons. Is that in Revelations? So anyway, I got arrested. I got arrested on October 22nd. Anyway, I'm not gonna get whatever. It's the feast of Saint John Paul II, right? It's the day after Midnight comes out. Anyway, I go to Pekin, right? And I don't even know, man, because it's God stuff, right? And this God stuff still going on, and I'm seeing like all this stuff, and I'm like, should I wear a cross? And it's not really cool. I'm going to fucking prison. I get there in July, like the end of July, the middle of July, right? And I found this thing called the Magnificat. I'm not Catholic, but like in it is, I didn't even know this, man. It's like the readings of the Mass for every day. There's readings in the Mass. Like, and the thing about the readings in the Mass is, I didn't know any of this at the time. They're cyclical. They go in threes, right? It'll go, and they change during the year, right? It'll go, whatever, Matthew, Mark, John, and fucking blah, 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 and whatever. But whatever the reading was today in the Mass, next year it'll be different. And the year after that it'll be different. Then it'll go to something. Then it goes back. It goes in 3-year cycles. So you had, like, whatever the Mass reading was today, it won't be that for 3 more years. You don't have to wait 3 years. Right? So, I mean, it's, like, not, like, the same, like people think. It changes. It changes every 3 years. It's cyclical. But I didn't know that. But they have the Old Testament reading. They usually read some Paul because that's all they know. and then the New Testament reading, right? So I started because I'm reading all kinds of stuff. I started every day I would look up whatever the fucking, whatever the reading was at the mass. I would look it up in the Bible and I would read it, right? And I'd have the Magnificat. I'd read it in that because I was more looking at page numbers and there's all kinds of stuff that God was showing me how to translate the world. But anyway, I started reading along, and this is at the end of July, the middle of July, right? Maybe the end of July. There's a week left in July, right? I get to peek in, and I just started doing this, and it's so we get to August, the beginning of August, and I go into the chapel for some reason, right? I go into the chapel, and there's I look over, and there's this shelf, and there's all these different Bibles all over it, but there's this one red one. There's one red one sitting there. I need to look at that. I go and I get the red book, and it's the New American Bible, the 1986 New American Catholic Edition Bible, right? I'm like, oh, okay, cool, man. I started fucking looking through it, and for some reason, I turned to the back of it, right? And there's this big list, the subcommittee of translators and blah, 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 and all the people that are on the board that were in. But at the top of the subcommittee of translators, at number 2, Cardinal Justin Regali's name. From the list. This is the book. Right? This is the book. And I remember when I told my mom that I wanted his address. She goes, you don't want to talk to him. He's retired. My mom would always say that. You don't know who you want. I go, that's the one person I want to talk to. Cardinal Regali. Now I have this book, right? And I picked his name out, 200 people. And I'm supposed to find a book. This has got to be the book, right? This has got to be the book, man. God's showing me all. This has got to be the book. This is the book. This is August 1st, man. So I start reading the masses that are going on, but I start reading them out of that book, right? August 1st, August 2nd, August 4th, August 5th. Every day I was reading it. And we get to August 6th. 86 Maynard. 86. But anyway, man, we're gonna 86 you. But 86, it's the feast of the Transfiguration of Jesus Christ. It's a holy day. I didn't know this. 86. Feast of the Transfiguration of the Lord. It's when he fucking shows himself to be God to John, Peter, and James. And Moses and Elijah appear next to him, right? The Transfiguration of the Lord. 8-6. So I don't even know, man. But I've been reading along for fucking out of this book for what? A week? Because I just found it. This has got to be the book. Colonel Regali's name's in it. He was the Archbishop of Philadelphia to the angel of the Church of Philadelphia. Right? So I'm reading a lot, and it's Transfiguration, and I opened it up, and I believe the readings, I don't even know, it's Mark 9. Like I said, this only happens every 3 years. There's going to be these 2 readings. Next year it won't be, and the year after that it won't be. So on this one particular day, it's the only day for another 3 years that it'll be this. It's Mark 6. And it's Jesus goes up in Transfiguration. I'm oh, okay, that's cool. And then the other reading for the Old Testament is Daniel 7. Right? It's very Revelations, fucking prophetic Daniel 7. Right? Okay, big deal, Josh. So I'm I go back, and I don't even know why, and I go and I read fucking Mark 9 again. I'm okay, that's cool. And then I look up at the top of the page. It's on page 1126. I'm that's crazy, because that's my birthday. I'm born November 26th. What? I'm wow, man. I'm born 11/26. There's my birthday. It's on this page, right? Cool, man. Whatever. And then I flip back and I go to Daniel 9. You know what page it's on? 974. You know when I'm born? 11/26/1974. It's my birthday. You know what the odds of that happening? From this whole story, I have a dream. I pick a cardinal out of fucking 200 cardinals. I don't even know who he is. I'm supposed to find a book. I'm in prison. I can't go find a book. I run into this book. I pick this book. The cardinal's name's in the back of it. I go and I just start reading along with the Mass a week before, and it comes to the transfiguration of the Lord when Jesus Christ fucking proclaims himself as God and shows himself God. And the page numbers are my birthday. And you can fucking see all that. It's all proven. You can see I'm in jail, and that book still exists. And you can look up the date. And if I wasn't there at that exact date, that time, like if it would have been a year before or a year later, it wouldn't have been my birthday. In the page numbers. Yeah, man. And it's physical proof. You know what the odds of that are happening? It can't. It can't happen. You couldn't make that happen if you had a million billion Easter eggs. You couldn't fucking do that shit. And then after I had that, I was like, oh my God, fucking God really is talking to me. So I fucking kept on. Nobody would write me back, you know. And you know what? Like, and at this point in time, here's what I was thinking. I thought that, like, I was just going to write them. So I'm writing the Vatican, I'm writing the Pope. My mom goes, you can't write the Pope. And then she'd be like, you need to fucking calm down your words. She'd like fucking like critique what I'm saying. God's directly talking to me, Mom. She's like, you need to listen more than telling these people. At this point in time, I didn't really know I was the son of God, but I'm a son of God, so fuck off. But I'd be like, okay, but these people really thought that too. Because I was writing that, she was like, you can't write the Pope. Or the next, I got tired of writing everybody. I go, Mom, who's the guy under fucking Carmel guy? She goes, who replaced Carmel guy? She goes, Carl Burke. She looked up Carl Burke. That's the other name I picked out. I'm like, okay, I'm going to write him. I go, get me Colonel Burke's address in Rome. She comes back to me. She goes, you don't want to talk to him. He's out of favor with the Pope. Oh, he is? I shouldn't be writing any of these people. It's just, you know what I'm saying? I just thought I was going to write somebody, and they were going to be like, oh, yeah, we got that book down in the Vatican. Thanks for pointing that out to us. We know all this stuff. And I'd be done, man. That's what I really thought, man. I just wanted somebody to write me back so I'd be justified, and I figured I did my job for God, and I can go back to my life. For real, that's what I always thought. So I write Colonel Burke one letter. He writes me back instantly. I've written thousands, hundreds of letters to everybody. Nobody writes me back. I come to find out, man, later on, my mom hid letters from me. Colonel Garley did write me back. My mom didn't show it to me. He wrote me back. She didn't show me the letter. I found it after she died, but whatever. Colonel Burke writes me back and tells me, don't pursue this. But here's the thing, I'm about to get out of prison, and I'm done. Because you wrote me back, and you said, don't pursue this. I'm done, man. Right? I got prove it. But you know what? That's physical proof of God right there, Joe Rogan. God exists. Jesus exists. Because if it was an alien or Satan, like if it was an alien, he wouldn't pretend that he was God. He'd just be like, I'm an alien and I came to talk to you. Right? You know what I mean? He wouldn't go up. If all that stuff was made up in a farce, he would just tell me the fucking truth. He would go out. He wouldn't go through all this. This is the thing, like, and when my mom or anybody would say to me, like, you're not the creator, you're not, I'm the word of God, and I can physically prove it, and there's all kinds of shit that you people see. But here's the thing, man. God didn't fucking, like, my name, that was my fuck, that's what I used to fucking write them and say, this is my birthday in on these page numbers. And this whole story that I just told you cannot happen. God did not go through all that trouble because he wanted me to go back to church. It must be way bigger than that, but nobody wanted to entertain that because, you know, if I'm the one, they're obsolete or whatever. I'm not gonna get into all that, but I can prove all that. There's a book with the page numbers. The Vatican witnesses to it by the masses, and the Magnificent. Cardinal Regal and Cardinal Burke are real people. He's Archbishop of Philadelphia. To the angel of the Church of Philadelphia, 11:26. 11 plus 26 is 37. Revelations 37. To the angel of the Church of Philadelphia, Cardinal Regali is the Archbishop of Philadelphia. Right? Oh. You know what I mean? There's just like too much there for fucking to be like, he's aliens or, I don't know, man. Anyway, plus, the dream, the hippopotamus is biting away the United States. Come through. I've told you guys have watched me going. I'm talking about closing the doors. Where am I at right now? After 10 years, at Grand Junction, about ready to go up to Denver. Where's Denver? Colorado. Where this hippopotamus takes the first bite out of the map. Colorado. 10 years later. I mean, there's way more than that. I can go but fucking before. But that's enough right there. That's fucking proof of God right there. Colorado, man. And all this stuff's verifiable and fucking. There's physical proof. There's fucking. It matches up to the Bible. Matches up to my birthday. Born on the fucking day they closed the town. There's just so much. There's just so much overwhelming physical proof and all kinds of proof. And plus, the reason I'm telling this story is because Joe Rogan and Kid Rock were having a discussion about if Jesus was real. And when I'm in Salt Lake City, like 2 days ago, before I come here, for some reason in my head, Josie, I'm the Joe to the C ho comedy. I was just rolling through. I was walking through the streets of Salt Lake City. I was closing down the gates. That's what I was doing. I was trapping Satan, but while I was doing it, I just kept on singing. I didn't know why I was singing it. I was like, I like Josie. I was like, fuck you, Satan. I'm singing some Josie. Joe Rogan and Kid Rock made that video 8 days ago. The Josie thing happened 2 days ago. And I'm making this video pulling it all together. I'm about to go to Colorado, which this stuff all started 10 years ago. Yeah.